opening, I am opening. My heart is ready to see. I am opening, I am opening. My heart is ready to receive. I am opening, I am opening. My heart is ready to receive. So I declare and I affirm that each one here is opening, able to open their hearts and able to open themselves to receive all of the wisdom and knowledge that is put forth today. That everyone here is able to encompass this new way of sitting and a new way of looking and looking at nature's beauty outside rather than man's whatever inside. So, giving thanks for this thing, giving thanks for this meeting of the Center for Spiritual Princeton, Living Princeton, I declare it beginning. I am opening, I am opening, my heart is ready to receive. I am opening, I am opening, my heart is ready to receive.
Good morning, everyone. I am Jeffrey Starbuck, a practitioner here in this wonderful organization, and I want to say this, that we are a loving, healing, inclusive community that teaches and practices the principles of the science of mind for the spiritual growth and well-being of ourselves and the world. I'd like to contemplate that a little bit and feel into it and not just read it or not just hear it, because I think it's important to absorb and properly absorb what is spoken. We have a wonderful, as Reverend Rich has introduced, a wonderful service this morning with all of the practitioners who are here taking part in it, as you will see. And I want to announce that next Sunday, the March 2nd, the first Sunday in March, is Reverend Michelle Wadley will be here speaking. We're looking forward to that. And Reverend Karen Kushner will be here the second Sunday, which is March 9th. And we're looking forward to that, of course. And we're looking forward to all of the things that are happening after that also. And also we're looking forward to all the things that happen between now and then. Not necessarily here in this specific place or under in this episode, but we want to be looking forward to every moment and whatever we're doing, and whether we call it spiritual or not. Because for me, every moment, when I remember, is spiritual. And the presence, we're practicing, the topic this morning has to do with the presence, practicing the presence. And what are we practicing the presence of? We're practicing the presence of love. I like to say love light. We can be practicing the presence of joy, the presence of intelligence. We're looking out, you are looking out the windows behind at the outside world, what we call the outside world, and nature's light and the natural things like grass and things that human beings did not create. So so we're going to have a wonderful service, and that's what I have to say. So enjoy it and enjoy some more.
Enjoy. Lean into love, let spirit flow, infinite presence, all that we know. Mind creates soul, think it true. Love is here in all that we do. Love is here in all that we do. One with light, one with grace. God in action, time and space. No more fear, no more lack. Love moves us forward, but never back. Love moves us forward, never back. Lean into love, let spirit guide. Truth within, no need to hide. Power, peace, and joy divine. Infinite love, forever mine. Lean into love, let spirit flow. Infinite presence, all that we know. Mind creates soul, think it true. Love is here in all we do. Love is here in all that we do. Love is here in all that we do.
Thank you, Reverend. That was beautiful. And it is so, so true. Morning, everyone. I'm Deejah Wynter. I'm a practitioner here. I'm happy to be here today. I found an article online, A Guide to Living in God's Presence by Colorado University, and I tweaked it a little for today's reading. In the hustle and bustle of everyday life, it's easy to lose sight of our divine calling, which is to live in the radiant light of God's love. This reading offers practical ways to embrace that light in every aspect of your life, from your morning prayers to your nightly rest. It will help you discover how to cultivate a deeper relationship with God and allow His light to illuminate your daily path. Choosing the path of light. In our spiritual journey, we often find ourselves at a crossroads. The path of light and the way of darkness present themselves to us. This choice is significant because it shapes our relationship with God and spiritual development. Ernest Holmes said, "I live in the faith that there is a presence and power greater than I am that nurtures and supports me in ways I could not even imagine." Choosing God's light is a leap of faith. It's about trusting Him and allowing Him to guide our steps. It's about believing that no matter how dark or difficult the path may seem, His light will always guide us home. Building a spiritual community. God is light. His light not only guides us, but also connects us by fostering fellowship among others of like mind, creating a spiritual community. Just as one candle can light many others without diminishing its light, God's light within each of us can inspire and encourage others. Community plays a vital role in our spiritual journey. A quote from the Bible, Matthew 18:20, which we've heard in many forms, "Where two or more are gathered together in my name, I am there among them." In times of doubt or struggle, our spiritual community lifts us up, prays for us, and reminds us of God's promises. We can foster this fellowship by being transparent about our spiritual journey and sharing our victories and struggles. Doing so allows God's light to shine through our lives, serving as a beacon of hope and encouragement to others. Living in alignment with God's nature. As we choose the path of light, foster fellowship, listen and allow God's light to purify us, we align ourselves more closely with God's nature. This alignment is the ultimate goal of our spiritual journey. God's nature is truth, life, love, light, power, peace, beauty, abundance, and joy. As we walk in his light, we are challenged to embody these attributes daily. We learn to love unconditionally, live truthfully, and strive for goodness in all that we do. This process is not about perfection. It's about growth and transformation. Walking in God's light is a lifelong journey. It may be filled with challenges and obstacles, but it is also filled with abundant blessings and profound joy. For in his light, we truly find our purpose, identity, and home. Dwelling in God's light. Living in God's light is a daily commitment that shapes our actions, words, attitudes, and relationships. Here are some practical ways to better dwell in God's light in your everyday life. Pray daily. Make spiritual mind treatment a part of your daily routine. Study inspirational books and literature. Meditate daily. Practice kindness. Show love and kindness to those around you. Foster fellowship. Regularly connect with your spiritual community. Practice and seek forgiveness. Serve others. Practice gratitude. Live intentionally. Trust in God. And share your faith with others of like mind. In conclusion, our spiritual journey may differ from those around us. We may face unique challenges and temptations, yet the principles remain the same. We are called to choose the path of light over darkness, foster fellowship with others, and allow God's light to bless us. In the face of deadlines and discussions, let's not forget to make time for God. Let's strive to study, pray without ceasing, and seek his presence daily. For it is in his light that we find wisdom, strength, and peace to navigate the challenges of our life's journey. Thank you.
You know, I think what's next is Gary gets the time.
Oh, introducing Gary Torres, our wonderful practitioner and board member. I think you're the president of the board, right?
They haven't kicked me out yet.
Great job.
Okay, each of us, this is a teaching area here. Each of us has his own approach to teaching, his own way of doing things. My particular thing is usually to say something that's a parable or a story, and that's what I'm going to do today. Now, one of the things I like about this is that we borrow from other traditions because no one really knows absolutely everything about the divine. We're learning more every day. We're growing every day. So I happen to have borrowed something that was from an old Hindu story. And it was said many years ago in India, there used to be lions. Lions have gone extinct in India. And this was before the incarnation that we call Krishna. And there were lions and other things that are no longer in India. At any rate, there was a man basically wandering through the jungle when a lion approached him, and he obviously became very frightened. He climbed up a tree high enough that the lion couldn't possibly reach him. Lions don't really climb trees, they don't trust them. So he was up in the tree, and he's wondering what the heck is going on. He's slipping off of these little branches, and he's very worried about things. And the lion is sitting at the base of the tree, licking his lips and purring. You don't want to know what a lion is thinking when they're purring. It's not usually a good sign. At any rate, so he decides to call on Vishnu. This was, as I said before, Krishna. So he calls on Vishnu, who's living on the sacred mountain at that point. And Vishnu starts the journey toward him, and he comes down the mountain. It's a very difficult climb. And he comes through the jungle, and it's a very difficult thing because the jungle wasn't as cleared as it was today, as it is today. And he finally gets to where this guy's just barely hanging on to the tree. And he basically looks at the lion, and the lion says, "Yike, I don't know what's going on," and runs off. Okay, and then climbs down from the tree, and he says to Vishnu, what took so long? And Vishnu said, "Well, you called me from the sacred mountain. If you had called me from within your own heart, I would have been here before you asked." So that's my little story for today. Thank you, everyone.
That's a great story. Oh, would you like to?
Here, right here, right now, dropping to our knees. We used to say, "Stop, drop, and treat." So I'm stopping and I'm dropping and I'm treating. So knowing that there is one infinite power, one ultimate truth, one loving presence, one incredible intelligence, creative principle, soul and spirit, knowing it is all here and it is all us. There is nothing else. It is just that incredible, ultimate truth, ultimate presence. And we are recipients of the incredible benefit of being it, nothing else. So knowing all this, I declare, and I know for each one here and each one that wishes they were here and each one that is home in their pajamas, listening to us, watching us, eating their bagels and drinking their coffee, that it is all good, it is all right, it is all true, that this meeting of the Center for Spiritual Living Princeton is divinely guided and it is divinely wonderful. There is nothing else. So I know that this spiritual community is in the process of becoming more and more and more of what it is. And what it is great. It's wonderful. It's been an idea in the mind of God for all eternity and will continue to be so. So I give thanks to that which indwells us. I give thanks to that which is the ultimate truth. And I invite you in joining me and letting me go into law, knowing it already has returned in its immensity by saying, and so it is.
So it is.
I've been walking down these streets, searching for the night, looking for what's real, searching for what's right. All these outside voices calling, selling all their dreams. I know deep down inside, the fiery voice that screams. Oh, I hear it in the wind, I feel it in my bones. A whisper in my heart says, I'm already home. Oh, the truth don't ever waver, the truth don't ever lie. It's a love so deep, it can never die. Through the darkest valley, through the pouring rain, the light of the Spirit gonna call my name. Ancient mutations say, how is it made? Not in the struggle, not in what I see. The mind is a doorway, love is the key. Everything I'm chasing is already free. Oh, I hear it in the wind, I feel it in my bones. The whisper in my heart says, I'm already home. Oh, the truth don't ever waver, truth don't ever lie. It's a love so deep, it can never die. Through the darkest valley, through the pouring rain, the light of the Spirit's gonna call my name. No more fear, no more fight. I'm stepping out into the holy light. I ain't broken, I ain't lost. I'm one with the power, no matter the cost. Oh, I hear it in the wind, I feel it in my bones. The whisper my heart says I'm already home. Oh, the truth don't ever waver, truth don't ever lie. It can never lie. Through the darkest valley, through the pouring rain, the light of the Spirit's gonna call my name. The light of the Spirit's gonna call my name. The light of the Spirit's gonna call my name.
Yeah.
Bravo. Amazing.
There's another one.
So,
So we're gonna have now. John is gonna come up and give a short talk.
All right.
I'd like the timer with me to figure out what's short. How do we define short?
Very interesting.
Well, that's a question. So today we're talking about the divine presence. How do you talk about the divine presence? How do you talk about something that is sort of beyond our common level of consciousness that we have every day, or it seems like it is? In Taoism, so the word Tao is basically the word for source, right? And one of the things that's said in Taoism, the Tao that can be named isn't the Tao, right? We can never pin it down to what I said. Gary, that's what a great story. and what's funny is I haven't thought about this in years. I heard a different version of that story. So I'm going to tell this version of the story. This was a version of it that Ramakrishna told. And it's interesting because I guess it's the same, but it's different. And it is about how we think about the divine presence in our life. I'm still holding the end of your story. Yes, when we call from within, it's immediately there. The divine presence isn't something separate from us. Right? We're taught, most of us, when we grow up, we're taught to believe God is there, wherever there is, right? Big grandpa in the sky, right? With candy in his pocket, or, punishment in the other pocket. Okay, so talking about the divine presence, I'm just going to go with it because I love the same story, but very different. So there was a man who was traveling from his village to another village far away, and he was in the jungle. And night was coming, and he was scared that the tigers were going to get him. This was a tiger story. Right?
More recent.
Yeah, yes, right. So he climbed up a tree. And he climbs up the tree, and as the sun starts to go down, he sees a monk coming. And a little bit away from the tree, not far, the monk sets up an altar to the goddess Kali. And he goes into the jungle and he gets all these different herbs and fruits, and he sets up with rocks a little space to make an altar, and sets up a picture of the goddess Kali, and sits down and begins to meditate on the goddess Kali and chants all these long, serious hymns. And just as he closes his eyes to meditate, a tiger comes, grabs the monk, drags him off. So the man is sitting in the tree watching this and thinking, what was that? Okay, what am I supposed to do now? But there's a whole altar to the goddess Kali sitting there with all these herbs and fruits and things like that to offer to the goddess. And so he climbs down the tree. And the monk had put down a nice cushion to sit for his prayer and all that stuff. And the man went, okay, I'm going to sit on that cushion. And he sits down on the cushion, and he has a vision of the goddess Kali, who says to him, whatever you want is yours now. And he goes, wait a minute. I'm not a religious person. I'm not a spiritual person. That monk, who's probably lived his whole life worshiping, he took all this time to get all these rocks and these herbs and these fruits to worship you, and you sent the tiger to drag him off, me, who's not spiritual at all. You're offering me all these wonderful things. What's that about? And Kali says, there's the human side of consciousness, and there's the divine side of consciousness. You don't know what in your past lives you did. That monk, he came here to set up this altar for you. This is his first life, living a spiritual life. So he needed to experience being dragged away by the tiger. But you are ready to receive all the blessings that Spirit has to offer. And so here you are. What do you want? So interesting how it's sort of the same structure of the story, but it's a different point. This is one of the things I love about the science of mind teaching. We know that divine presence, we teach, we don't all know it all the time, but sometimes we do, right? We teach that the divine presence, whatever that is, use the word God, use the word source, use the thing itself, doesn't matter. It lives within us fully now, right? And that now is every moment. There is never a moment when we are not one with that truth. And that truth is love, and that truth is peace, and it is life. It is all those things. That lives within us now. That's what this teaching is. I don't know about you, but I don't always experience that. The path that we teach to being conscious of the divine presence, right? We're not creating something that isn't there, it's already there. We do spiritual practice for that purpose, to let go of the things that make us think we're separate from that truth, right? And to build up the consciousness that we are already that. Love lives within us. So how do we do that? How do we get from here to there? How do we, it's just like that monk in the tree, or the guy in the tree who wasn't coming from himself, requesting Vishnu to come and save him, right? The same thing. How do we get there, to that consciousness? I will just tell you, I'm looking forward, I know that Regina is going to present some spiritual practices, and Regina always has these wonderful spiritual practices. And by the way, that to me, why do we come here on Sunday morning? Why do we have the Center for Spiritual Living Princeton? Because each one of us are individuals, and that which lives in us expresses in very different ways in each one of us. That story was a perfect example of that, right? We have a center because together we bring the divine presence. And as Jesus said, when two or more gathered in my name, I am there, right? That's not just an airy-fairy statement. That's a statement of a spiritual principle. That when people who are drawn by spirit come together, each one of us is lifted up by being part of that group, right? To me, that's the only reason for us to have a center. We have a place to go where we can be with our spiritual family, with people of like mind. And just like that story that Gary and I told, two different versions of the story, every one of us is going to tell a different version of what it means to live a spiritual life. I'll just say that the thing that seems really important to me, what I have to share today, is the divine presence. It's really important to do spiritual practice. That's why I'm looking forward to what Regina is going to present to us. It's just really important. And what spiritual practice should you do? That lives within you, right? What's right for you at any one moment, it is living inside of you. All you have to do is say, all you have to do is ask, right? part of my spiritual process is learning how to, instead of my way of saying, and I've said this before, life is not an exclamation point, it's a question mark, right? I have learned to approach everything as a question mark. What's the truth here? What truth is Spirit offering me in the form of this experience? We're all experiencing this sort of chaos that's going on in the world around us right now, right? Can you stop and ask the question, what truth is revealing itself through this experience that I'm having? And if we as a group, and the larger group of people who have consciousness of the presence of Spirit, keep asking those questions, we bring the presence of Spirit into the world. Right? One way to fix the world's problems is to be angry and to hit back and to get confused and all that kind of stuff. But a different way, a more spiritually oriented way to deal with the problems that we see in the world is to remember that we are Spirit. We are love. We are truth. We are all of those things fully, right here, right now. And to allow ourselves to open to that. The more we become that, we change the world around us. We really do. I don't want to live in a world, an angry world. I know a lot of angry people right now. I don't choose to live in an angry world. I choose to live in a world of wisdom, spiritual wisdom, and peace. The more we choose that, the more we change the world. Right? And we could go on and on, Gandhi, Martin Luther King, Jesus, how the world changed just by them being present with Spirit. So in that light, I'm going to pass this on to Regina, and I look forward to hearing what Regina has to offer to us. So thanks.
Oh, perfect.
Thank you, Jon. Good morning, everyone.
Where's Regina?
I'm giving out handouts. I'm a handout person. If you see me, they're coming around. I like you folks here to have something to take home with them. Here's the bag. Okay, here you are. And we have one more. One more behind you. Yeah. And so, here, you can pass those out. You can pass them on. So it's nice to know that I'm the practice person. I'm the gratitude person. And I'm the prosperity person. I claim that for myself. So, I had mentioned before in one of my talks, and I'm giving another one March 26th, the chief spiritual officer. And you should have that handout coming around, right? Does everyone have that?
You mean this?
The chief spiritual officer? Yes. The chief spiritual officer I was made aware of this approach to the presence by the Path of Wealth by May McCarthy, who is a part of, I think, Center for Spiritual Living, Seattle. And what she has, I'm sorry, I think I have one, right? No, I had, what she has, and I'll show you the CSO meeting. It's called the CSO meeting. So if you turn to that handout, the CSO meeting. And what she says, that in the path to wealth, 7 spiritual steps for financial abundance. She shares her daily practice to help you get clear about your personal and professional goals and commit to a plan that will get you there. So, who is the CSO? The CSO is your chief spiritual officer. It's your partner in whatever your professional or personal goals are. It's the being that you allow to be present in all that you experience. When you wake up in the morning, thank you. When you go to bed at night, when you feel that ache, when you feel that joy, when you get that new job, when you release what no longer serves you. It's your chief spiritual officer, CSO. So, what she gives are 7 steps, and they're similar to what Jon was saying. The 7 steps for practicing the presence and beginning your day or that spiritual moment that you invest in the presence to give you a path to bring that more out into your experience. So the first step, she says, is read something inspirational. Now, I just thought I would bring this book. I found, if some of you have read A Course in Miracles and some of the other books where, even probably the Bible, where they're writing what they've heard or what they've been inspired from God, the being. Well, Quiet Talks with the Master by Edith Bell Werber. And I think this was like in 1936. The intimacy that she writes with, it's God talking to her. It's intimate. And when you start reading these little essays that she has, they're just like a paragraph or 2. Here's one. Come, let me speak to you for a moment. And this is God speaking to her. You feel often a restlessness and a sense of aloneness. It's interesting that I picked this one up. This comes to you that you may turn to the God Mother within you and find completeness. More and more shall you learn the valuelessness of the outer and the great power of the inner. I'm not going to read the rest, but search for books, information like this. You can start your meditation, your 7 steps, with something inspirational. Then she talks about writing a gratitude letter. And her gratitude letter is all about the things that she has experienced in recently, that she is thankful for. And then you read it out loud. You hear yourself. So that's more senses that are going into the presence. You're writing, you're thinking, you're writing, and you're hearing. You're bringing that environment, that presence out of you into your experience. Because it's within. Now you imagine experiencing your good. So in your gratitude letter, you're writing about what you desire, your goal. Goals, plural. And so you imagine. Now Neville Goddard has a wonderful way of practicing imagination. Think of climbing a ladder. Close your eyes. Think of climbing a ladder. A lot of times when we do this, we see ourselves climbing the ladder. But what Neville Goddard says, don't see yourself climbing the ladder like an observer. Climb the ladder. Feel the rungs in your hand going up. You can open your eyes now. That's a different way of imagining. A lot of times we observe ourselves doing something. This is being it in your imagination. The next one, expect leads and follow directions. I'm a proponent of this. I know that when I turn left, I'm guided because right is not the way for me. I mentioned the other day about the tag on my jacket. I was guided to put the jacket on while there was still opportunity to go to the store and get that thing off. We are always guided, but it's an awareness. It's an awareness. Know that you're being guided. The wrong turn is possibly the right turn for whatever is a part of the goal you have set. The path has been put out for you. The next thing, celebrate and note demonstrations. I was so happy to be able to wear that red suit without the tag on it. I was truly happy. I was happy that when I was supposed to pick up my granddaughter at the college and had to get my car towed to the dealer, that it was just the fact that I hadn't put the oil cap on. And so I could get her before the school closed and she could drive my car to Maryland. I mean, I was thrilled. But you must be aware, you must be, but you have an opportunity to be aware of what's being led, you're being led to. Be aware. And then you end your day with gratitude and forgiveness. Now, one of the things that a new part of my practice is when I go to bed at night, I start saying what I'm thankful for. Just a few things, you know. I'm glad this worked out. There were people that helped me use the projector yesterday so I could display a Zoom, with a projector I've never used before, blah, 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 blah. But they were there. And and everybody gave me the kudos. But it was a team. It was people who were there. That's what you want to be aware of. The forgiveness prayer, I added that to this document. And I've read it before. I'm not going to read it again. But the point of forgiveness is including yourself. Forgive what you perceive the mistake you made, as well as the mistake other people made. Now, I bought my bag of cards. Okay, I bought my bag of cards because Margit mentioned this the other time we went to the tea. So this is, my 2024 daily cards. This is my practice. Using inspiration, I've done the letters for 21 days or whatever. So this is my practice. I encourage you to create a practice. Invest in your presence because presence is there. Wake it up. Let it be. Thank you.
I'm going to lead us.
Keep it moving.
What?
Keep it moving, please.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna lead us in a meditation now, and so everybody is sitting someplace. And so where you're sitting, relax. I invite you to close your eyelids. Relax. Let your body relax. Let your body be held entirely by the force of gravity. Breathe in deeply through the nostrils. And breathe out through either the nostrils or the mouth. And again, breathe in deeply through the nostrils, breathe in more. And now breathe out. Breathe in deeply. Breathe a little bit more, hold the breath. And now release it, let it go. And now let the breath go by itself. And be aware of the breath if you like. The breath is continuing. It knows how to, the body knows how to breathe. And focus for a moment on something that you are grateful for. Anything, any moment, something that you feel gratitude for. And feel that right now as you breathe. And continue watching the breath. Feel that what you are sending out is coming back to you. The goodness, the good feeling that you are sending out in all directions from the center of your heart is coming back to you. And also what is coming back to you is again then being sent out. There's a circulation going on here. And be aware of the presence of circulation, the presence of goodness, that you are being held, to use a metaphor, you're being held in the hands of the divine. You're being held by something which is holding you and is holding all of us. And it's holding you in a very particular way and expressing through you in a very particular way, your own way. And it is rooting for you. Feel that it is loving you and helping, assisting you in going in the direction of your goals, of your objectives. Because your objectives and goals are its objectives through you. And all of us here and everywhere, we we are already in the eternal presence. Even when we didn't realize it, we were already in it. Before this service today, we were in this presence. And after this service today, we will continue to be in this presence. By whatever name, whatever you call it. And know that your life is good. And that your life has a purpose. It is a divine purpose through you, as you. And that is good. And just to simply appreciate the silence for another moment. Feel the silence that is occurring in between and all around all of the sound, including this voice and including the music and including the silence of the sound of your own breath coming in and going out through the nostrils. And recognize that you can never get away from this divine presence, this wisdom, this light, this love, which is holding you. Now we are going to, if you wish, you can open your eyelids. You can also keep your eyelids closed. You can also alternate that. Yeah, there's close blink. And I'm going to pass around this container for representing circulation for money, for goodness. When you get the basket, hold it for just a second and feel it as a portal. A portal through which it symbolizes something, and through which all that you need is coming to you. And everything that you have to give out is going out through it. And continue to sit in the presence as this is passed around. And know that every moment is precious. And each and every moment is special. Now I'm going to do a special closing treatment for this day. So I speak this word for everybody who is listening now or in the future, whatever that means. And I know that there is only one power, one presence, one love, and that is the source of everything. Each and every one here is in that love, is in that power, and is always in it. And it is good. And so everybody is feeling the benefit of that is everybody is feeling circulation of health in the body. They are feeling the circulation of money and assets in their that they need. They are feeling the circulation of connection of relationship. They are feeling vitality. They are in touch with the right livelihood, the right expression of their gifts and skills in this world. And there is nothing at all that can go against it. There is nothing that would want to be against this. It is this love, this power is always present. Even when you don't know it, even when you don't think it's not present, it is present with you always. And it is good. And I now release this word and join me in saying, and so it is.
So it is.
Thank you.
Wow. Thank you.